Join me here today in Shanghai in one of the biggest buildings in the world. My feet are going to be very tired after this. We're at the Shanghai Auto Show 2021 and this is Fully Charged.
Don't forget our great EV giveaway. Subscribe and enter for the chance to win one of several electrifying prizes, including one of 4 electric cars.
Now we're here at the ORA stand. Now we saw the ORA video that we shot last year, very popular car, the kind of mini shaped mini EV thing for about $7,000. Now we're here today to see these two. This is their new model, the Haomao, which means good cat. And this is the GT version, which got some sporty accents and some carbon fiber in the grille and some red accents, and actually looks really smart. Now on the inside, it isn't much different, but the biggest difference is with this one. This is the CyberSpace from ORA, and they've really gone to town on the body detailing here. So massive luminous green fender things down here. They've expanded the bodywork out here, so it's like wide-bodied, huge wheels, also in the luminous green. On the inside, it isn't actually that much different, but it looks fantastic, and I like how they're trying to personalize these cars to a bigger audience. This stand has been the most popular stand over the last couple of days, and it's almost impossible to get into these cars because everyone's trying them out. Just shows you how popular this brand actually is. So a couple of facts about this car: it starts at about 104,000 RMB, so a little bit more than $7,000. You get about 300 to 400 miles of range at any DC, and it's a pretty reasonable package for the price. I think we can come around and have a look inside. There's someone in there, but and on the interior. Now, they've really begun to work on the interior. Now, this is a lot more refined than the previous version. Quite understated. They've got the big screen in there showing your dashboard and your navigation and your maps and your entertainment system. But it's actually much cleaner in here now. And I really like this car, and I can't wait to drive it. One other feature I want to show you on the back, dodging the photographers, is this. Now, you don't actually see any back lights on here. Because it's hidden in here. This is the back light. Interestingly, this doesn't have a rear windscreen wiper either, so in the rain it's a little bit tricky to see out of. It's got quite a bulbous rear. I think it looks a little bit like a Nissan Leaf from this angle, but in actual fact, this whole package is a really good value for money. So we can actually go on the inside, so let's go have a look. So we're going to go in the passenger side because the driver's seat is busy with someone taking model photos. So just jump in. Now the material treatment in here is lovely. I've got actually quite a lot of space, but the best feature is these switches. They've got these metal aircraft toggle switches going up and down. That's fantastic. What a lovely touch. And that's it. There's none of that non-tactile nonsense. It's all your little buttons here. I think this is for air conditioning stuff. A few plastics, but that's what you expect at this price. And a really good feeling space. Again, they've gone with the ceiling sunroof, very big in here. Seats are very comfortable. Love this car. Can't wait to drive it. Now, there are some unique features on this car. It's copying the the chrome from the regular VW Beetle. Massive wheels. It's actually quite a big car. I don't think these wheels suit the retro aesthetic that they're really going for. But the most interesting thing is on this side. Now this is the Lightening Cat. It's their fast version, 0 to 60 in who knows how many seconds. I think less than 5 seconds they say. Looks remarkably like a Porsche Panamera. They haven't been shy about that at all. I think it's slightly out of proportion. This one is apparently about 70% production ready. So it's ridiculous that they're even thinking of building this. I wonder who's going to buy it. But as a concept car, it's very interesting. Let's see if this actually comes into production in the next few years from ORA. So we're here at a very exciting concept. This is the MG Cyberster. Now it's a concept designed by their London studio, and it's got some fantasy specs at the moment. So apparently 800 kilometers of range, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Now I've been told that this is 75% actually production ready, and they're hoping to get this to market in about 18 months. Probably won't quite look like this, but there are some interesting features on this car actually. So it's got the lights at the front, which aren't pop-up lights, but these are lights which kind of flash out when the car is switched on. Now, if you go around the back, it's got these really nice Union Jack kind of style lights. You know, I think this is a lovely looking car, and I've been told, you know, it will come to market very soon. So it's also very exciting stuff from MG, and I think it does look a little bit like the MGB or MGF, but a few generations in front. So we're here at the VW stand, and it's massive. It's about 200 meters that way behind you. But the electric cars are tucked away in the corner. So much about that big electric push. All the gasoline cars down there. The two electric cars up here. So we've got the ID4 Cross and the ID6 Cross. Now this is the big one. This is the chunky 7-seat model. And if we have a look inside, now this is not my favorite color. It's a bit brown, a bit yucky. But it does look quite good. The issue is though, look, it comes up to there on me. That's quite scary. That's anyway. Now if you come in, and it's got a rather, I'm going to say, nasty brown interior. But again, it's all up to like the VW standards. It's very well built. I've got a tiny little screen here telling me I've only got 2% battery left. That's not good. A little screen here, but the feeling of space in the front actually isn't that big. The feeling of the space you get is in the back. So they do have a skylight. I don't really enjoy that here. It's in the back 2 rows that I can feel the feeling of space. But in here, it feels a little bit cramped. So a very quick number of facts about this car. You may already know them, but I'm going to tell it to you right here. So it's got a very angry red VW badge on the back. It's angry about something, very angry. It has 510 kilometers of NEDC range, so expect slightly less real world. It has I think 84 kilowatt hour battery, so it's quite big. But the thing is, it weighs 2,395 kilos, so it's quite a big, heavy car. And you load that with your 7 passengers, it's going to be even heavier, and your range is going to suffer a bit. I also really dislike this colour. It doesn't bring out the best features of the car. It's kind of quite bulbous and bulky, but I imagine it's going to sell quite well here in China. Now, also on the VW stand, we have the ID4 Cross. Now, I think this is a much better proportioned car than the ID6. It feels like a big Golf. It feels much more, just in proportion. I think it looks much better than the ID6. Some very quick stats about this in this fetching fluorescent greeny bogey colour. 520 kilometers of NEDC range from an 83.4 kilowatt hour battery. So I think it's the same battery as the ID6. Again, I actually quite like this one, whereas the ID6 feels a bit bloated and big. But again, it's got the huge alloy wheels, very comfortable inside. You've got 5 seats inside. You've got the VW quality. The interior is actually very similar between the two. But I think this just has a bit more feeling of refinement, space. I quite like this one. So we last saw this car at the Chengdu Auto Show, and that was before it was a rip-roaring sales success, outselling Tesla. Now they've brought out this newer version. It's a slight update. It's called the Macaroon. Kind of cute, kind of these pastel colours. Specs are pretty much the same. So between 120 to 170 kilometers of range. Battery size is 9.3 to 13.8 kilowatt hour battery. And the price, 2 prices here. 120 kilometer range one is 37,000 RMB, and the top of the range one is 43,000 RMB. Both ridiculously cheap and still as cute and as amazing as ever. We are going to get one of these on the show very soon, and I cannot wait to drive it around. Hopefully it's the Macaroon version. The great thing about Wuling is they have a really great community. And these are two examples of cars modified by key opinion leaders, I suppose, in the Wuling Mini EV space. They've got this army-inspired one here, rugged, off-road, with a roof rack, which probably doesn't hold anything. And then over here, you have this starry pink creation. We can actually get into both of these cars. The only details they've gone into here is a couple of blue tints here, still got all the plastic inside, but they've got 8 speakers in the doors, 4 on this side and 4 on this side. A little bit crazy, and they've got all this blue velour on the ceiling. Now, I want to take you to the other car, which has wings on the back, and for some reason they've put some fake exhaust tips on the back. A little bit silly, but I mean, I suppose that's what this small little EV is all about. I have no words for this car. It's pink everywhere. There's pink like velour-y stuff everywhere. There's a mirror in the ceiling. There's diamonds on the seat. It's completely ridiculous, but I quite like it. I mean, I would probably never drive it, but I like the efforts that some people have gone to really make these individual. What a fantastic little car. Flush with cash from such a roaring sales success of the Wuling EV, they brought out this concept. This is the Cabriolet. This is the convertible version. Not quite production ready yet, but slated to come out onto the market in about 2022. This does have some quite big differences to the other cars that we've seen around. So it's a little bit more refined. They spent a bit more money on the materials inside. Therefore, it's probably going to be a little bit more expensive. Now, this is a working prototype. The roof does go up. It's quite cool because the little flaps come out and it folds over. It's also got these roll hoops in case the car falls over, because it's quite tall. But that's for safety there. They've got these really nice metal accents on the back of the seats. This is real proper thick metal. This is all stitched leather. Then you come around to the steering wheel, it's all metal buttons here. Very nice, minimal and thin screen here. And they've kept the controls to a complete minimum. They've got 2 air vents, which are very nicely designed with a hole underneath and a couple of buttons on the dash. And then this is all kind of microfiber cloth all around here. The wheels are slightly bigger now. They've gone for 14-inch wheels as opposed to the 15-inch wheels. 13-inch wheels. And around the front, they've darkened the lights around here and the front grille, so it's looking a lot cleaner. Now, this is a really cool little car, and I think it will actually be quite a hit in China if and when it comes out. Lovely little mini EV from Wuling. So we finally get to see the Zeekr fully uncovered. Now, you saw the video a few weeks ago where I was bombing it around the Ningbo circuit. We're here with the uncovered version. Looks even better without the camo. And we're actually going to see the uncovered interior without all the messy sheets all around it. So I'll just jump in and you can join me on the inside. Just as I remember, but even better. This interior, well, okay, it takes my breath away a little bit because we didn't see all of these screens. We didn't see these double screens up here. I've got the tactile buttons down here, which is kind of a Geely feature. I don't personally like that, but it's a very minor quibble. I've got my selector here, which I've used before. Quite nice materials in here. Not such a fan of this blue color, but I think that can be optioned out. I've got Yamaha speakers in here. That's interesting. I don't think the model I drove actually had Yamaha speakers, but very interesting nonetheless. I can see all the fixtures and fittings. It's all kind of stitched leather in here. Very good quality. Kind of got that performance angle in it, I think, even in the interior. I wouldn't option it in these colors at all, but I think there's probably some more muted blacks and dark grays, I would hope. But what an incredible performance car. What an amazing interior for this car. Now I'm back in the back of the Zeekr and it's all uncovered for me finally. I apologise if it's very dark. This lighting in this booth is very, very dark. I'm probably a little bit grainy at the moment, but I can see in here I've got a little LCD screen down here to control my temperature and climate settings. Again, I've got acres of legroom, plenty of headroom, and this is a great place to be. In fact, it's one of the most comfy performance EVs that I've been in. The seat is actually really reclined. You won't see me, see? It goes back a long way. So super comfortable for those long journeys, which is great when you've got this battery range. So we're really lucky because we can actually see the Kia EV6 GT in the flesh, and here it is. What an amazing looking EV. Now this comes in two flavors. One is the 168 horsepower one motor rear wheel drive model, or the 232 horsepower all wheel drive model. I don't know which one this is. I think it's just a pre-production model, but it does look stunning. It's very different from the Ioniq 5, which is I think a lot more calm and refined. This is a lot more aggressive and shouty and performance focused, I think, than the Ioniq. So I can actually give the WLTP cycle of this car, 316 miles for this. So impressive statistics. You get 0 to 60, I think, in less than 4 or 5 seconds, and they're expecting it to sell for around $45,000 US. And I think you can say this looks incredibly good for an EV. I'm glad companies have started to think about performance in terms of EVs. We've got Zeekr, got this Kia Kia EV6 GT, fantastic. We want to see more performance and exciting EVs on the market. So we're here on the BYD stand, and just yesterday released a new small car. Now BYD know how to make small cars, they know how to make cheap electric cars. This is the EA1, and it's kind of taking BYD into a new kind of styling direction. So they've got these bigger headlights, very different from their SUVs. And this is kind of based on a dolphin style design, I think, with the lines across the back. It actually looks quite nice. I think there's some design similarities in the wheels to maybe some other cars, but overall this is a very compact, like, city runaround. So I expect this to have probably around 400 to 500 kilometers of NEDC range. Price is more than likely going to be about 100,000 to 110, 120,000 RMB, very similar to their current small car. Great little package. I think it's got ample boot space, very practical. I am looking forward to driving this one as well around a city, hopefully in Shenzhen. So we're here on the Beijing stand. Now Beijing is a very traditional brand which has been around for about 50 years. Very well known for making Jeeps, but they've started their first foray into making electric vehicles. Now they've come up with a new brand called Arcfox. That's right, Arcfox. And they've got two models out. This is the AT. This is kind of a small SUV, very similar to my own Xiaopeng G3 in terms of size. Now, some of the specs are quite similar as well. So it starts at about 242,000 RMB, goes up to about 320,000 RMB. The range is around 480 to 600 kilometers, and it's fully 5G. I think if you come in here, you can actually have a quick look at some of the unique features in the car. We've got a big screen here, which is all across the dash. Got 1, 2, 3, and you can swipe and move these about as well. We've also got a screen at the bottom here, which gives me more information about the car. And the finish and fixtures in this car are actually very, very good in terms of their quality. And it's a very impressive first attempt from Arcfox. So I think let's go and look at the AS, which is the sedan version. So this basically takes what the learnings of the AT, puts it into the AS. Now this is actually developed in conjunction with Huawei, who are doing the self-driving. And so I think this car, or this car over here, has the full self-driving capabilities. Everyone's getting into the self-driving game at the moment, and these guys have tied up with Huawei. It's going to be an interesting future for this brand. So BMW, obviously a legacy brand, have come to the Motor Show and have made something of a statement with this, the M Next Vision. It is stunning. Now this is the direction that the design direction that they've wanted to go in with their electric cars in the future. So you probably see some of these elements trickle down into some of the other cars as well. I'm hoping they bring out this because I would love to drive it. Now it's ridiculous. No, there isn't much information about it, but just look at it. Slightly Lamborghini, I think, at the back. One thing I do know is that on the interior, on the steering wheel, there is a boost button, just like a Formula E race car. So you can hit the boost and get extra speed on the go. The interior is ridiculous, but it's a concept car, so it's meant to be ridiculous. And I do know that the sound of the electric motor in this has been designed by Hans Zimmer, the composer. So that's one very interesting fact, that they're trying to think about how do we get people excited about electric cars in the future who maybe have come from petrol cars or ICE cars in the past. And I think by teaming up and making these unique kind of collaborations and really thinking about the experience for the driver, cars like this are going to be very, very exciting. And just look at it, it's stunning. So the really unique thing about BYD, and something that I love, is how they bring the Chinese elements back into their design. Where a lot of designs in the past were trying to mimic Western designs, BYD have taken the brave step of celebrating their Chinese heritage and culture. So in the back here, you've got this knot kind of pattern, and this is based on a traditional Chinese knot, which you see a lot, been around for hundreds of years. And I really like how they're beginning to celebrate that. So this is their concept SUV. Some of these design features are going to probably migrate over to some of the production cars later, but this has got some really beautiful design features on the inside. Now it's quite busy, so you might not be able to see me, but just inside, you can see the knot pattern in the dashboard underneath the screen. You've got traditional Chinese teacups in the back, and then you've got this wave, which is also quite traditional in China, that wave kind of pattern throughout the whole car, in the door cards, in the center console. Love it. This is really great direction from BYD, and I'm glad they're celebrating their Chineseness. So this is a little new car that we previously didn't know anything about. So this is actually by JAC, the guys who co-build the Neo cars, who we saw at the Shanghai Motor Show with a wide range of their own cars. So this is a new brand called the Sihao E10X. Now they don't have an English name yet. The Sihao is the Chinese name. But the interesting thing about this car is for two reasons. Number one is the price. It starts at 39,900 RMB, so it's only a little bit more expensive than the Wuling we just saw. And the other is that it's rumoured to be going to Europe as well. I think this is a great little car. I think it's got a little bit of inspiration from some other places as well. Funky little colour, nice little grille, LED lights. Interior is very simple inside. It doesn't have a huge range, so it starts at 150 kilometers of range for the base model, and it goes up to 302 kilometers of DC range for the top model. Now there's some cute little things in this. I think if you open the bonnet, they put some fruit in there. There's actually a frunk, it's tiny. There's a tiny little frunk in there, and you can comfortably fit 5 adults inside as well with a boot space. So it's a little bit more practical than the Wuling, but come with me and have a look on the inside as well. The refreshing thing about the E10X is the fact they put a baby seat inside. I haven't seen any cars here today with a baby seat, but for me, I've got a baby, and it shows to me that, you know, this is a potential option for a little city run around. Probably wouldn't want to go long distance in it, but that's fine. And you can actually fit adults in there as well. Now, if we come round to the front, there's a lot of this green accents everywhere. Quite a lot of plastic, couple of screens, tiny screen for the driver, which I think is a good idea. And I've got my power button, simple handbrake lever, no buttons, which is a bit of a shame. But I've got my heating controls, little screen with a few controls, very plasticky, but you know, that's what you get at this price range. What an incredible little car to put onto the market, and I think a real proper competitor for the Wuling, which does have its own shortcomings. Now this is something very exciting. I know that you guys are really looking forward to this as well. This is the Ioniq 5, and this is a model that we can touch and play with and open and sit inside. So let's have a little explore around this car. So, you know, this is almost production ready. I think it's coming out early next year, but you can have a look at this clamshell kind of design, which really helps with the aerodynamics. Got this black bar down here, and you've got these really unique square headlights, which will switch on in a minute. Now, as you come around here, you've got the large wheels, 20-inch wheels, completely flat to help with aerodynamic efficiency as well. And the crazy wing mirrors, which are currently pointing in because the car's not on. But these are probably not going to make it to the production model because they're not legal here in China. They might make it to the model in Europe and the US if it's going there. Now, we can actually get in the car and have a little sit and play around. But before we get in, I just want to show you little screen here, which is obviously for your wing mirror. All the text is in Korean at the moment, so this comes straight from Korea. ready for the auto show. So let's have a look inside. Interesting place to be. So there's two 12-inch screens here. I've got one here for my main controls, and I've got one over here, which is showing my navigation things. All the materials in here are eco-friendly, so they're made from recycled PET bottles, the more natural materials. I'm not such a fan of this beigey brown color, which is a little bit not to my suiting, or not to my liking. But there is a huge feeling of space in here, which I haven't got in some of the other electric cars. A large expanse of glass there. I've got the glass above my head, and I'm surrounded by space. So all down here, I've got loads of space. Two Bose speakers in the doors. I've actually got a speaker here, which is very interesting, on the dash in front of me. And I've got a really, really big selector for the gears. It's about that thick. It's huge. I've also got a couple of small metal buttons on the steering wheel here. Very simple, very interesting. All my vents are hidden back here. Plastic, but that's okay. And I've got vents up there. And I've even got a glove box. Oh, look at that glove box. Just slides out. Very smooth motion. Lovely. And I heard this is adjustable as well. I think you can bring this backwards and forwards. I don't know how you can do that at the moment, but pretty useful. A lot of space in here. So that's enough for the front. Let's have a look in the back. Very spacious, actually. I'm surprised at how much space I actually have. Floor is a little bit high for my liking, but it's quite a high step in as well, so that's not too bad. Now, the feeling of space in here is huge. Massive glass all the way down here. I've got soft material around here, a lot of brown though, not such a fan of that. Got my own metal vents for heating controls in the back here. You could easily fit 3 adults in here, I think, quite comfy. Plenty of headroom, which is quite unusual for me. And I think this shows you actually how big this car is on the inside. Much like some of its rivals, which don't do so well in the space department, the main theme is space. One interesting feature I just want to show you is in the windows here, they've got this, so I can block the sun if it's too sunny on me. So one more thing, let's have a look at the rear of this car. Now at the rear of the car, and we have this lovely back light, which is all these kind of square pattern lights which light up, and when you indicate left and right, this is really good looking. This is one of the best looking parts of this car. Now, boot space, I do have a rather large boot. Oh, look at those lovely lights. I do have a big boot, little spoiler up there. Someone's left their drinks bottle in here for some reason, and some plastic. But I have quite a large boot space in here, and I've got this which can fold away, and I've got my charging cable underneath there. So this is no concept, this is, oh dear, I'm having trouble getting it back. This is no concept, this is almost pre-production or production ready. Just in terms of boot space, 538 litres of boot space in here. I've got my little thing here, which is useful for hiding my shopping from the sun. Join me for part 2, where I'll be having a look at more amazing new EVs.